Hey everyone, Brian from Bearable Traders here. The weekend again, October 12th. And this, of course, is the weekend video where we take a look at what happened last week in the markets. A quick review, and then we'll take a look ahead, see what we got coming up, as well as some possible trading opportunities. We caught a really nice one last week with CrowdStrike. So we'll be looking for more of those this week. So let's get down to it. All right, so let's start out by taking a look at what happened last week. Of course, everybody was waiting for that CPI and PPI report that was coming out Thursday, Friday. So CPI a little bit hotter than expected on the inflation front, 0.2% versus 0.1%. But then we got the PPI data that showed lower numbers, pretty much zero versus the 0.1 month over month. So the two, I guess, sort of canceled each other out, but the PPI data is a little bit more forward looking. It's what the producers are seeing. So maybe a little bit of good news there. Anyway, we also kicked off earnings season, Delta Airlines, of course, and then the big banks start to roll in here, WFC, JPM, all reporting pretty good numbers and pretty nice looking outlook. Said the consumer was pretty solid. So that really gave boosts to the markets going into the weekend as we had a really nice finish on both the SPY and the Dow. So you can see here, this I think from the SPY was about the fifth week in a row we finished up on the week. But you can see here pretty much sort of same numbers, 1.2%, and the IWM up 1%. So technologies, industrials really broke out here this week, and utilities typically more rate sensitive. When you get rates going up, utilities don't do as well as the consumer or the comm services. Communication services down a little bit on the week. And you can see here Treasuries 2-year flat and the 10-year again back above 4%, which is kind of surprising here. But 10-year is tending to move up as maybe people are a little bit afraid that we might see more inflation coming in the future. US dollar, a little bit weak. It was up a little bit this week, I should say, but really not much of a move there. And Bitcoin just edging up a little bit there on the week. So that was pretty much your market in review previous week. And before we move forward, as always, like to do a quick plug for my efforts here. These are my books on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, very popular book, and Profiting as an Active Trader, a little bit more intensive look at how to swing trade. And then, of course, my latest book, How to Trade Options, both as far as day trading and swing trading or even position trading. So all those books there, if you want to check them out, they're on Amazon in all the different formats, audio, electronic, or hard copy. So let's start out by taking a look at some of the indexes and how they finished out the week. As I always like to start out with the bonds and the treasuries. You can see here we're continuing to break down in this week, this last week, as yields continue to rise on the 10-year bond market, basically saying they are concerned in the long run about reinflation. And that's reflected in the fact that the long-term bond prices are dropping as a result of yields going up. So as you remember, there is an inverse correlation between yields and the price of the bonds. So that's what's happening there. The short term, it's kind of staying pretty steady, as we already talked about in the review. So you can see here the dollar, of course, as yields go up, the dollar goes up as well. The dollar becomes more attractive for investors. And you can see here the Qs. This is the Qs. You can see here we're still not making new highs like in the SPY and the Dow. We're kind of stuck right here at this prior high, and every time we've opened lower, but then the buying brigade has come in and bid the price up. But again, we're still not breaking above here. So I would watch, see what happens. Of course, this level right here, this 480 level, is pretty important. If we lose that level, it will be a very bearish signal. But I kind of feel like we are on the precipice of breaking out and getting back over 500 maybe next week, depending, of course, on how the earnings reports go, especially with TSM and AMSL as we get into those numbers around Wednesday and Thursday. And you can see here the SPY, of course, breaking out new highs here. And it's just every pullback here, you can see here this little pullback to this moving average got bought and continues to grind higher. Volume not spectacular, but the direction is unmistakable. The Dow, again, breaking out, all-time high. Again, volume not too bad on these breakouts here. This pullback on Thursday, lower volume, and then we had the higher volume breakout on Friday, Thursday and Friday. So the Dow definitely looks like it wants to go higher here. IWM, sort of the same story as the Qs. Kind of have this high back here, and then this other high that sort of matches up here, double top. And I had a nice breakout through these moving averages on Friday with that good news. But really, I guess it's just, again, we're back up to an area where there's probably going to be some resistance. But again, if we get some good numbers, it could be a good omen for this the IWM to catch up a little bit more on with the Qs. And Bitcoin just seems to be chopping in a range here. I guess if we look at it on a weekly even, it's probably going to just show sort of a maybe an ABCD pattern here. Maybe we're just maybe this is just a long consolidation pattern, a little bit of a pullback flag, and yeah, I'd be watching for this to break out from this top trend line here, because if it does, we could get a real violent move to the upside. And there'll be some stocks that you could play that with. Of course, we've got lots of ETFs now. So that was it for the week. Okay, so let's talk about some stocks that we traded last week. A lot of these came from the watch list. This OKLO, this is a uranium play, Sam Altman. And got in on Thursday around 9:50 as it started to break out. And then we just had this pretty ugly pullback. I think again in even a little bit higher here. So if it does break down much more below these moving averages, I'll have to get out of it. But right now I'm a little bit underwater on this one. So again, not a huge position, but still not great price action on Friday and that pullback after what looked like it was a breakout. So Crowd was one that I was really watching here. I've had it on my watch list for a couple weeks. Finally got into it and had a really nice breakout on Friday. I think we've got should have this on the weekly. So really nice breakout through this 300 level, which is an area I was targeting. Actually got in a little bit more before 300 and had a nice move up on that one. FSX, I got out of the rest of this. FXI, this is a Chinese sort of large cap stocks. It does look like it's putting in a bottom here. I'm going to kind of watch this one next week. There is some news that's going to come out of China on the weekend in terms of more stimulus. So we'll see. I think it kind of got a bit of a pop on Friday, but I'm not going to play that, anticipation, because it just feels like it is again a binary event. So we'll see what they come up with on the weekend, and then there'll be the response on Monday morning. UVXY is still holding a little bit here. I got into it a couple weeks ago, and I'm still holding a small size. I got out of most of it, but and the last one, CMG, I'm still holding on to it. I've had it for a couple weeks now. I'm looking for a breakout. It looks like it's very close to breaking out here. And first target would be somewhere in around 62.50-ish, 61.50-ish, should say, area. So those are a couple of stocks that I am in right now. Okay, so potential trades for next week. Swing trades, I'm looking at Tesla. Tesla had that big robotaxi event on Thursday night. Obviously, investors weren't impressed. I think sort of a lack of discussion of the Model 2 to compete against all the other low-priced EVs that are coming out, and maybe a little bit of disappointment in terms of sort of lack of clarity on how exactly Tesla is going to market these robotaxis. Maybe sort of underwhelmed investors, even though the cars look pretty interesting. But I really think here this is could be an interesting stock for a rebound, because, as you know, it did seem to trade in a pretty narrow range here. So we could come back up and fill this gap at some point. One of the way to play it, obviously, would be to use options. You could sort of do something like sell 200s, and if you wanted some protection, buy 190s. I was looking at that possible trade, or you could do that and then buy some upside calls somewhere around there. So some options to trade on this, but I kind of feel like Tesla's probably going to hold this level, and there's the people that are in it for the short term, and then there's the diehards that'll come back and support it. Energy Transfer, I'm looking at this, kind of interesting, got a good dividend, and it's breaking out here. It moves oil and gas, and with all the AI coming up and incredible amount of power demand, looks like this one could be continue to be a winner here. TD was another one. They got hit with a massive fine, like $3 billion or something, for their lack of oversight and money laundering, and they're really stock price really getting slammed here. I did dip my toe in the water, a few shares on Friday, but it continued to sink. So I'm going to watch for another, maybe down to 56. I'll buy some more. And again, this would be pretty much for a position trade, maybe a longer hold on TD. But I think the assets are pretty big. I'm still sort of scouting this one here. I still think it looks like it's holding 250. This is a biotech play, and they're presenting in November. So maybe something to play going into that conference that they're presenting at. And I'd also like to take a look at a few of the ETFs. Let's take a quick look at some ETFs. If you look at these ETFs, I mean, most of them are just lower left, upper right, and just continuing to break up here. But this, just looking at two that have pulled back a little bit. XLERE, real estate. It looks like we've had this pullback just because of the long-term interest rates are going back up, and mortgage rates have sort of inched back up here. But it looks like it's kind of holding in this range here right now. So 43, it's trading at 43 right now. I see it. If we're kind of through the yield increases, maybe this one will go back up. And of course, XLU utilities, sort of same story, sort of yield sensitive, but again, it looks like it's kind of done its little thing here, pulled back, and maybe is getting ready for a setup back to retest, at least get back sort of halfway back up and over 80, maybe 80.50 or something like that. So it could be a quick trade there as well. So there's a few little bonus trades for you. Okay, so let's just wrap things up here. Week of October the 14th. There's your levels on the Dow, Q, SPY, and IWM. Of course, SPY at all-time highs. Same with the Dow, really close, and 43,000 very close as a new high for the Dow. And everything, the market still looks strong. As far as economic events goes, it's kind of a slow week. We do have some stuff coming up later in the week. Jobless claims, as always, at 8:30 in the morning, and then retail sales will be kind of interesting at 9:15. And then, of course, we get home builder confidence, and then some housing starts building permits on the Friday. So a little bit of home builder stuff late in the week as well. Retail sales, probably one of the ones that'll be the most interesting Thursday morning before the market opens. As far as earnings go, as I mentioned already, we are into earnings season. So we got more banks coming up next week. We've got some semiconductor stuff, ASML and TSM, Wednesday and Thursday. And of course, a lot of people will be watching Netflix. Netflix still looking very strong from a daily perspective, weekly perspective, clearly significantly above the 700 level now. So that's it, everybody. And so we'll be kicking off the market open pre-market show at 8 o'clock live on YouTube. You can join us there. And you can stay with us as we trade the market open. And of course, with our members who will have the advantage of hearing us without that time delay, and of course, all the educational stuff that is available to our members as well. So anyway, have a great rest of the weekend, everybody, and we hope we will see you Monday morning. Bye for now.